Difficulty in video games is a very controversial topic. People have their opinions and stick to them with pretty much no wriggle room. Usually when people talk about difficulty in video games, it's about how a game is just too hard and how there should be an easy mode. Some of you watching may even assume that this is what this video is about, which it isn't. Personally, I think some games shouldn't have any difficulty options. Yes, I think it would be great if everyone could beat any game whatsoever, but that's not how things work. Not every game is for everyone, and not every game should be for everyone in my opinion. Just like movies, TV shows, anime and music, video games are made for specific audiences. No one bats an eye at a game being made in a certain genre such as horror, something that will obviously deter certain people. I think difficulty should be viewed the same way. Some people want to play a scary game, some people want to play a difficult one. That's how I view things. You don't have to agree with me, that's totally fine. You could even make the argument that a game like Grounded even has a feature to make it less scary, as there is an arachnophobia mode that makes the giant scary spiders look like blobs. Aw, they actually look kinda cute. Although in fairness, Grounded isn't actually a horror game. It's a survival action adventure game that just happened to be scary. But you can make the argument of a scary game purposely making itself less scary and therefore more accessible to more people. So why can't a hard game have an easier option for players who don't want the challenge? Well, there are a few good reasons why not to, which should hopefully lead into the main topic of this video. Firstly, a lot of games do have difficulty settings, and a lot of the time they are implemented very poorly. Usually an enemy's health is just a little bit bigger, or their hits do a bit more damage. It leads to an experience where your character is just standing there shooting at a bullet sponge. It's not very fun. Also, let's take fromsoftware for example. The bosses aren't necessarily difficult because of their health or attack power, it's because of their moveset. How do you make that easier? Yes, you could make a boss less aggressive, but then I believe there would be two issues. One, the boss is just going to be standing there letting you hit it, and two, when it does attack, it will still have the same bullshit combo attack, it just happens to do less damage. Or maybe they removed that attack for an easier difficulty, but then are you even playing the same game or just a diluted version of it? There's also a creator's artistic intent to consider. Creators have specific ideas in mind when they make a piece of art. That's true for movies, TV shows, anime and music, and it's true for video games. And those ideas do include game difficulty. Miyazaki didn't make games like Dark Souls with the intent of them being difficult games. He wanted to make games that pushed players into a corner and gave them a sense of euphoria of overcoming tremendous odds. Making his games difficult was simply the byproduct of this goal. Adding difficulty settings could be viewed as going against a man's vision for the games that he makes. However, some people might be totally fine with that or view their personal relaxation and enjoyment as more important, which in my opinion is totally acceptable. The point I'm trying to make is that difficulty in video games is not something that is easy to solve or has a solution that appeases everyone, and we will likely never get to a point where everyone is happy. The current solution we have of having games with difficulty settings introduces its own dilemma. Which difficulty do you pick? A game with one difficulty has clearly been optimised to that setting, but what about a game with multiple choices? Which difficulty setting has the most optimal experience? Because one of them must be better than the others. And I think most players will gravitate towards the harder settings, or at the very least not go any lower than normal, which brings me to the point of this video. Don't dismiss easy mode. That may be a little surprising to hear since I've just defended highly difficult games, but the point of this video is to actually talk about the benefits of easy mode and why you maybe should select that difficulty when playing a video game. Some games will have the courtesy to tell you which difficulty is the optimal experience for that game, but a lot of the time they don't, and even if they do, there's nothing to say that will be the optimal experience for you. However, I do believe that some games are at their best when played on the hardest difficulty, and some are more enjoyable and playable when done on a normal difficulty. By that logic, it should be safe to assume that some games are at their most fun when played on the easiest difficulty. Even outside of that, there are legitimately good reasons as to why you should select easy mode when playing a video game. Firstly, easy mode is a good choice for when you step into a new type of video game. I remember before I was really into Souls-likes that I wanted to actually get into the games because they looked really good, but obviously they were too difficult for me. So I decided to play Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order because it had similarities to those games. The first time I played Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, I played it on easy mode. It meant that I could focus on the story and characters, which is another positive to choosing easy mode, whilst also getting accustomed to a new genre of video game. And in the end, I loved it. I loved everything about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So I replayed it, except this time I went one difficulty higher because I knew how to play the game. And once again, I enjoyed the game and got better at it. So I played it again afterwards, this time on a higher difficulty. Same thing happened. I loved the game and got better at it. And then I did the same thing again until I'd beaten the game on every difficulty. By the way, when I say I played the game again and again, I don't mean that I played it, beat it and then jumped straight back into playing it again, because I didn't. There were months in between each playthrough where I played many other video games, and when I did play on the highest difficulty, I really enjoyed it, but I don't know if I would have if I just instantly went with that option from the start. Lots of people do try out new genres of games and end up dropping them or saying they just can't get into them. I wonder if in some of these cases it was because they played on a higher difficulty or even just normal difficulty and therefore didn't allow themselves to get accustomed to this new type of game and all its quirks. When I eventually did make the jump from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order to Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, the difference in difficulty was night and day. Sekiro was significantly more difficult and I needed a lot more time to adjust to that difficulty, but adjust I did, and Sekiro is currently one of my favourite games of all time. What an easy mode does is it takes that adjustment period and drastically reduces it. That makes it less likely for you to drop a game and increases the time it takes for you to start enjoying it. Another reason why I think you should sometimes choose easy mode is because a hard mode is obviously going to be challenging, whereas an easy mode is going to make you feel powerful. I'd even go as far to say that it can be wish fulfillment mode. I remember playing Days Gone and I did a similar thing with that game that I did with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. However, I stopped after I played it on normal difficulty because I recognised that I liked it so much more when I played it on the easiest difficulty. It was so much more fun playing Days Gone on easy mode than normal mode, and it was because I felt so much more powerful on the easier difficulty. One thing I liked to do in Days Gone was clear out some enemy camps, and I liked to do this stealthily with my crossbow. On normal difficulty, if you shoot a guy with your crossbow, he doesn't die. All it does is damage him and then alert him to your presence, which then causes the entire camp to know you're there and then try and kill you. On easy difficulty, if you shoot a guy with your crossbow, he dies, which makes sense if you shoot a crossbow bolt into his chest. It also doesn't alert anyone and I can keep playing stealthily. I would literally roll around my enemies while shooting them in the head because of how easy it was, and it was great fun. The hordes too. I hated the hordes initially, but I got used to mowing them down, and on easy mode they die quicker, so the whole encounter is a lot shorter, but also doesn't feel as dragged out. Also, I died a lot less on easy mode. I feel like a lot of people don't play easy mode because they feel like it makes them weaker in some way, or that harder mode is much more of an accomplishment. I know that's how I felt. I used to play every game on easy mode, especially when I was younger, but in recent years I've been playing more and more games on normal difficulty and above. In fact, a lot of the time nowadays I default to normal difficulty, but has it improved my gaming experience? Honestly, no. Actually, it can sometimes make it worse for some of the reasons that I've already mentioned. Enemies can be spongier, so encounters feel drawn out and boring. Annoying segments in the game now become even more annoying. I die more often, so I have to play through levels more often than before. Some of these problems are not exclusively difficulty related. Annoying segments are usually a result of bad design or poor execution. It's just that a higher difficulty can exacerbate a pre-existing issue. The final reason why you may want to use easy mode is because it's just relaxing. Let's not lie to ourselves. We've all gotten annoyed and frustrated playing a game. We've all seen clips on YouTube of someone going crazy, probably even destroying their controller in the process. Not everyone wants to go through that. Not everyone wants to increase their stress levels whilst playing a video game. Some people just want to have fun, relax and be entertained by their entertainment. No difficulty mode will lead to a more carefree, relaxing experience like easy mode. Life is stressful enough as it is. There is absolutely no shame in wanting to avoid stress in your spare time. And I don't think you should let others, or even games themselves, shame you or make you feel bad for wanting that. At the end of the day, I think you should be able to choose however you want to play your game. If you want a super challenging experience that's going to test the limits of your skills as a gamer, then go ahead. I hope you overcome the challenge and are filled with the desired euphoria and adrenaline. If you want an intermediate experience where you get a bit of a challenge but can still relax for the most part, then go for that. And if you just want to relax or just focus on the story or get accustomed to a new type of game, then go for the easier difficulty. No matter what you choose, I just hope that you enjoy playing the video game, and that when you do have to select the difficulty, you don't automatically dismiss easy mode, because it could be the best experience that you could have in that video game. But anyway, that's all I have to say for today. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.